Lalo THR. Today I'm going to talk about the CONCACAF Gold Cup final that went down between the United States and the current reigning defending Gold Cup champions, Mexico, in what was a very one-sided game for the most part. There were a couple outliers here and there, and even a little controversy, quote-unquote, which I will address. If you watch the game, you already know immediately what I'm talking about. The hand of God moment from Jorge Sanchez. We'll get into that later. But the first thing I want to tackle before anything is this whole B team, C team excuse that the USMNT fans have been spewing all over social media. Because the amount of secondhand embarrassment that I've been getting from these guys is through the roof. Like, I can't even convey how embarrassing these people sound. First of all, Christian Pulisic, he's the face of the national team, of the United States national team. And in fact, he's the face of US soccer altogether. He's their wonder kid, right? Christian Pulisic is Captain America. That's what some fans call him. And his excuse for not showing up to the Gold Cup tournament and representing his country is that he was too tired and he needed some rest. Now, if Raul Jimenez and Johan Vasquez and Edson Alvarez and Santi Jimenez, those are our European players, right, that play in Europe, if they said, oh, we're too tired, we need to rest, I wouldn't even bring up their names when talking about. First of all, my attitude is gonna be, we'll beat the United States with or without our starters. What you mean? We'll beat the United States with Liga MX fodder. I don't care. That's my attitude, first of all. But second of all, let's just say our star players didn't want to represent us because they were too tired. I'm gonna say fuck them. They're little bitches. Just like Carlos Vela. That's why I don't rate Carlos Vela, because skill-wise, technique-wise, Carlos Vela was the Kobe Bryant of Mexican soccer. He could have been. He was that talented. And I intentionally use Kobe Bryant as an example, as an analogy, because Carlos Vela, as it turns out, he was more passionate about basketball than he was about soccer, his own sport. You know, it's been documented very well. That's why he moved to Los Angeles and started playing for LAFC, because he loves the Lakers and loves basketball. But he could have been an ATG. He was so talented, man. So dynamic. But because he refused to show up for Mexico, my attitude is fuck that guy. I don't rate him. I don't rate him with Gio Dos Santos, with Guardado, with Rafa, with Chicharito, with anybody. Even though he might have been just as skilled, if not more so, than all of those players I just mentioned. But he didn't want to represent Mexico, so fuck that guy. I don't rate him. And that's the attitude that these USMNT fans should have. It's like, just imagine for a second. Just imagine, let's use this example. This is going to be a dumb example. But let's just say the United States goes to war with Iran. Let's use some real life shit. And the United States goes to war with Iran, and it's an old school battle, boots on the ground, and we send the Marines and militia because the Marines don't want to participate. They're too tired. They don't have the resources. The Marines, our most powerful branch of combat military, don't want to participate. So we send a bunch of army grunts and militia, and of course Iran ends up beating our asses. And then us as citizens, we go on Twitter and whatever, and we say, hey, well, the only reason we lost is because we didn't have the Marines. But if we had the Marines, we would have won. Like, do you not see how pathetic that is and how pathetic that sounds? If your A-plus players don't want to represent you, that's not our fault. And it should be your attitude anyway, that you could beat us with or without them. You guys already did in 2021. You beat Mexico with your B team, quote unquote. It went an extra time and y'all scored a lucky ass set piece goal. It happens. So no excuses. Your attitude should be fuck Mexico. We'll beat them with or without our star players, because that's how good we are. But instead, you guys are resorting to this B team, C team shit. It's fucking embarrassing. Embarrassing and pathetic. And speaking of embarrassing and pathetic, this is a perfect segue. Let's talk about that quote-unquote handball that should have been called a penalty. You know, Jorge Sanchez is probably the worst player on the whole team. Not just on that particular day, but in general. That's another thing that makes me laugh. Y'all want to talk about, oh, we were missing our better players. Bro, Mexico fielded the worst possible fullbacks they could have fielded in the final. Gallardo and Jorge Sanchez. Gallardo instead of Mateo Chavez, who proved that he's way better for that position. And Jorge Sanchez, el mano de Dios, over Julian Araujo, who I thought had an excellent game the game prior. He gave a really good cross, very good dribbler, way better player. We fielded the worst possible fullbacks we could have fielded, and y'all didn't have a prayer in creating any chances off the ball whatsoever. Literally, in all the 90 minutes of play, the United States only had just two threatening attacks in the entire run of play in 90 minutes, 97 minutes to be exact, with extra time. Okay? So let's not act like this game was crazy close just because y'all got lucky and scored that fluke-ass set-piece goal, which I'm not even convinced 100% that ball completely passed the goal line. I'm not even really convinced, to be honest. They showed 3 replays from different angles. They showed 2 replays from different angles. And I'm not 100% convinced that ball went behind the goal line. It passed the goal line. I'm not 100% convinced. We could, and that's the thing. If it were U.S. fans, they would have been crying, "Oh, that ball didn't go past the goal line. That wasn't a goal." But of course, the CONCACAF referees gave it. Bro, you know how many clean golazos Mexico had ruled out? Let's not forget that Santi Chilena that was ruled out. If that was y'all would have been crying like little bitches, man. I swear, this fan base. That's why. I'm going off topic. I'm digressing, man. I gotta catch my thoughts before they run away. But that penalty was not a penalty. That handball was not a penalty. If a player intentionally touches the ball to prevent a goal or to score a goal, that's a penalty. But if a player is falling and extends his hands out to catch his fall, because that's the natural thing to do, and he happens to fall on the ball, that's not a penalty. And even if you want to consider that a penalty just because of the mere fact that he touched the ball, who is he preventing from scoring? There was nobody there. There wasn't a single U.S. attacker near that ball. Y'all are delusional. Y'all couldn't create any chances to save your life. And the fact that you want a crook-ass penalty just to save your asses, to bail you out of what was a one-sided ass game, is absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I'm telling you, I should name this video Secondhand Embarrassment through the roof. Because it really, you know, combining like the whole B team, C team excuses and then the whole, you know, crook-ass penalty thing. That shit, the amount of secondhand embarrassment I'm getting is unfathomable. It's just crazy, bro. Like, the fact that y'all would even want to win a game like that. Like, let's say, hypothetically, in an alternate timeline, it was ruled a penalty, and the U.S. put it away, and they managed to take the game to extra time, and then win in a penalty shootout. Like, y'all would be proud of winning like that? Like, really? You would take pride in... I mean, I get it. I know winning is winning, right? Vin Diesel, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. I get all that, but, like, why would you even strive for that? Like, why would you take pride in that? That is not... I don't know, man. Maybe Mexican fans, we have a higher standard. Maybe. I don't know what it is, but that's pathetic. That's really, really pathetic. That's all I gotta say. The game was so one-sided, guys. I have the stats right here. You know, I have the stats right here. Shots. Mexico had 16 shots to the United States 6. The United States had only 3 shots on target. Mexico had 8. 40% possession for the United States. Mexico had 60% possession. Just for context, the first half, It was like I don't. It was a landslide. It was a landslide in possession. But in passes, I don't have that stat right here. But passes, 518 completed passes for Mexico, 350 for the United States. The United States committed more fouls than Mexico, had 0 corner kicks. Mexico had 12 corner kicks. This was not a close game by any stretch. Even though you guys scored that fluke goal, there was never any threatening moments from the United States besides like just two in 97 minutes. One of them being Sebastian Berhalter taking a shot out of nowhere, dribbling through 2 Mexican defenders. That was actually spicy. I ain't even gonna lie. That was spicy. That was a beautiful shot he took as well. It barely missed. That shit barely went over. But that was it. That, and then off of a counter, I don't remember who, off of a counter, did a header, and Malagon blocked it with his face. So out of 97 minutes, there was only 2 threatening moments from the United States off the ball. You know what I mean? So this was not a close game, like some of the losers are saying and some of the pundits are making it out to be. You know, the numbers don't lie, and I know what I watched. And the fact that y'all are resorting to what you're resorting to is pathetic. Just go on Twitter, man. Go on X and look at Fox Sports and see their tweets and, you know, of coverage of the game and showing Mexico's celebration and everything. And then go to the comment section and see the type of shit that the USMNT fans are saying. Very racist, very xenophobic. This is why I stopped, among many reasons, this is why I stopped supporting the United States national team in soccer. I used to be a fan of both Mexico and the US, and I used to support them both. But because of reasons like this, them using bitch ass excuses and just being crybabies, man, being little bitches. I don't want to associate with a fan base like that. I really don't. I understand the players have nothing to do with what fans say on the internet, but I just don't want to associate with a fan base like that. It's embarrassing, bro. It's embarrassing and it's pathetic. As for Mexico, man, they've been playing great. I mean, they've been playing great defensively. The attack is still questionable. You know what I mean? I actually worry about that spot because as great as Gil Mora is, and let me tell you, holy shit, man. This kid is a wonder kid, and we need to protect him at all costs. Gilberto Mora, he's the truth. He's the truth. At age 16, the youngest player in the history of the sport, playing a tournament final. 16 years old, and he created a lot of chances. He took 2 shots on target, one leading to a corner kick. I mean, this kid is just unbelievable, man. I'm so excited for his future, and I hope to God we don't fumble this kid. He needs to get out of Mexico. He needs to get out of Liga MX. He needs to go to Europe right away. And in fact, I read this morning that I think Barcelona already invited him to play in their academy, you know, and start training in their facilities. They're trying to groom him, you know, to be the next, like, Rafa Marquez, you know, like the next Mexican superstar that could make it in Spain and in Europe. But it's up to his parents, you know, to allow that because the kid is a minor. He's 16. 16. It's out of control, man. And, you know, let's not forget, like, we're putting all of our attention, rightfully so, on Gilberto Mora, but we also have Marcel Ruiz, who had a great tournament, great Gold Cup. And then let's not forget Elias Montiel también. That dude is also very good. The midfield is just out of control right now, man. It is shaping up in the best way possible for the future. But I do worry about the front and the back, specifically the striker position and the goalkeeper position, because Malagon looked very shaky. And as good as Raul Jimenez is, you know, he's not getting any younger. I'm pretty sure the World Cup next year will be his final World Cup. And Santi Jimenez is not panning out, man. I don't know what it is, but when Santi puts on that Mexican jersey, he just can't do nothing with that ball. I don't know what it is. And he actually, I think he broke his finger too or something during the final. And I said it, like, this dude he's cursed. He's legitimately cursed. Like, we need to call a curandero for that. We need to call a bruja to give him a limpia or something. That dude is legitimately cursed. But, yeah, so I am worried a little bit about the striker position and the goalkeeper position. I do not trust Malagon. He looks shaky. His decision-making is questionable. And Hopefully, we can tighten up that, or maybe have Rangel take that spot. Obviously, Ochoa, he's done. I mean, I don't know if he's just on the bench for moral support, but he's done. So those are positions that are definitely, they have question marks next to them. So hopefully that can be addressed. But other than that, I gotta be honest, man, I haven't been this excited for the Mexican national team since like 2014. Honestly, since like 2014, it's been a while. This is really, really exciting right now, especially because the World Cup coming next year. When Mexico plays in the United States, they might as well be home games. So if we could keep this momentum up with our defense being as freaking tight and as solid as it is, and with the incredible midfield that is shaping up, I mean, as long as Raul Jimenez could stay healthy, could stay fit, man, and play as good as he's been playing in the World Cup, bro, I think we have an opportunity to at least make Quinto Partido, if nothing else. I don't see why not. I think this squad right here, if this momentum continues, they could probably make Quinto Partido finally, at least. Which is honestly, I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't try to win the World Cup, but winning the World Cup is a very tall order. Let's be real here. Let's be realistic. You know what I mean? Winning the World Cup is a very tall order. And, although I wish Mexico could win the World Cup, but I'm not going to bet on it. That's for sure. But I would say we should at least strive to make Quinto Partido, man. If we could make them quarterfinals, bro, that would make my whole year. I mean, as long as I've been watching the team, I've never seen it happen in my lifetime. So if I could see it, that would make me very happy. And I think we can do it. I really do. I mean, seeing this, the way this team has been playing, I think we can do it. We'll see how we look against Japan and South Korea. I also read that we're going to have a friendly against Colombia in, I think, October or November, sometime in the fall this year. So things are looking up. I'm not going to get my hopes too up, because every time I do that, this team manages to let me down somehow, some way. But when I look at kids like Gilberto Mora and Marcel Ruiz and Elias Montiel and, Huescas and Camberos and Mateo Chavez, like, bro, this is an exciting time. I ain't even gonna lie. And El Vasco Aguirre has really done something different with this team that he did not do when he was coach during 2010 and in 2002 neither. So this is pretty exciting. And with that said, I'm going to bid you adieu. Thank you for listening.